You mentioned China, obviously part of this BRICS Plus group now, which is getting stronger than ever with Saudi, with Iran, with South Africa. What do we need to know about China? And what is going to be the big threat or the big conflict with China and the US or the West over the next 25 years?
I mean, 25 years is way too long of a time to even think about the conflict taking that long.
10?
So, yeah, I would say it's going to be the predominant conflict for the next 5 to 10 years. The next president of the United States is going to be really focused on China. And here's what we're seeing right now in the world, right? So just look at the United States. The United States is wrapped up supporting 2 wars. They're wrapped up supporting Ukraine. They're wrapped up supporting Israel. It is a fundamental military doctrine that no government, no military can support a conflict on 2 fronts. So right now, the United States is already asking itself the question, like, who are we going to support more, Ukraine or Israel, if these both continue on for another year? Because we can't support a war on 2 fronts. The other person asking that same question is China, because China's been waiting for their opportunity to take Taiwan. So right now, they look at the United States and they're like, the United States is already on 2 fronts. And they already know they're going to lose if they try to keep both of those fronts active. So this is a prime window for China to be looking at Taiwan and saying, how aggressive and in what way do we want to take this country? Do we want to take it quietly through legal legislation? Do we want to take it loudly through military invasion? How do we want to handle this? Because without a doubt, if the United States extends itself into a 3rd front, and now it's fighting in Europe and in the Middle East and in Asia, it's going to lose for sure. Right? So this is the thing we have to worry about with China. Why do I see the whole evolution all the way from Russia's invasion of Ukraine through the Hamas attack on Israel as all being coordinated in consultation with China.
Really?
China's consulting with Iran, China's consulting with Russia, and they're all saying the same thing. Absolutely.
But I mean, China doesn't call up Putin and say, go in now, but you're saying in a soft, subconscious way, they encourage them to do it?
Not in a soft, subconscious way. What I'm saying is when those leaders get together and they all vent their frustrations, and Hamas and Iran vents the fact that they're being ousted from the Crescent Circle or the Crescent Moon, and Russia vents the fact that NATO's oppressing them through Ukraine, and China vents the fact that they want Taiwan. The 3 of them all get together and they're like, you know what? We can roll this out in a way. We can create policy and take actions in a way where we're all fighting the same opponent. Because the reason that NATO's oppressing on Russia through Ukraine isn't because Europe cares, it's because the United States cares. And the reason that Taiwan is a constant thorn in China's side isn't because Asia cares, it's because the United States cares. And the same thing is true about Israel and Hamas. It's not because Europe cares about Israel, it's because the United States cares about Israel. So what happens is, if you think of it like a grade school playground, as silly as this is, man, you and I went to public school and we know what it's like to be on an elementary school playground.
Yeah.
There's a bully. Everybody's afraid of the bully. But then eventually all the skinny kids get together and they're like, you know, the bully is kind of weak in this area, kind of isn't prepared in that area. And all of a sudden the 5 skinny kids can get together and beat the shit out of the bully. Take his lunch money, scare him, make him look bad, get him in trouble with the principal, right? They can wreak hell on the bully and still be 5 skinny kids. And essentially that's what we're seeing right now in the whole world.
Wow. And so what does the bully need to learn? Does the U.S. need to go down to Peru and have an ayahuasca ceremony and look in the mirror and say, wait a second, maybe we've been a bunch of jerks for the last 50 years and maybe we should just not do some of the things that we used to do? You know, I had Colonel McGregor in here and he said, look, our military is not what it was in the 1990s. We're kidding ourselves. And do you think we really need to really ask ourselves some hard questions in the way that we project power and do it more intelligently?
Yeah, I think that it's not necessarily about us having an ayahuasca ceremony and coming to terms with our inner bully. It's about us understanding that there's a new strategy that we can leverage to give us primacy, dominance in the current world. And that the current strategy that we've been using has been the same since World War II. Make everybody economically dependent on you and then drive trade in such a way where your legislation dictates their legislation. That's been our strategy since the 1950s. Now we're living in a world of AI, social media, globalization, viral spread. Anybody can travel anywhere and learn anything through a smart device that they carry in their pocket. That means we need to have a new strategy for how we execute. So let me give you a microcosm example. If you look at Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy right now, in my opinion, these two are being children in how they approach their race for the presidency. They're sniping and shooting each other when they're not even the real villain, right? The real villain is the Democratic Party. So why do you have these two Indian Americans sniping at each other over family issues and real names? It's childish. All they're doing the work for Biden. Now Biden doesn't even have to spend any money or any time trying to tear those two down. The Democratic Party doesn't have to spend any time or any money tearing those two down. The United States can learn a lesson from this, because if we just stop trying to police the world will burn. And when the world fights itself and we are the only ones left to be strong, the world is our oyster again. But when we're trying to police the entire world, we're just depleting our own resources. And we're giving an opportunity for someone else to let the world burn. And that's exactly what BRICS is doing. BRICS is making pragmatic decisions, not ideological decisions. In essence, they're like, yeah, let the world burn. And we'll be here to sweep up the ashes.
Interesting. I mean, if you think about that, Andrew, that's how we got into power in 1945, is because we let the world burn, right? Everybody destroyed each other, and then we just swooped in and took all the spoils, right? Europe killed each other, Asia killed each other, and we stayed out of it mostly, a little bit, and then we just dominated for the next 50 years.
Correct. That was the strategy that worked in 1945. That may very well be the strategy that works again in 2035. But we have to change our strategy now. If we keep trying to force everybody and bend everybody to our will, that only works as long as the United States has some kind of leverage. But the United States is losing their leverage more and more every day. New currencies, cryptocurrencies, new world leaders, authoritarian regimes. We don't have the power we had in the 1990s.
And this is why I disagree with you, Andrew. This is why the U.S. does need to go down to Peru for the ceremony, because the U.S., its own ego, is writing checks its body can't cash, and it's lagging. You ask most Americans as they walk around overweight and maybe unemployed what the greatest country in the world is, and again, I'm American. Clearly, it's America, and so I don't think it doesn't realize that it needs to reset.
Right. And that's one of the things that's been really fascinating about watching Europe, because Europe is going through a state by state reset.
Right.
Right. They're asking themselves questions on a national level, and they're even asking themselves if they want to remain part of the European Union in some states. And that's the kind of individual aha moment that the United States hasn't had yet. We haven't given ourselves the space or the permission, or our ideology, our own brainwashing of our own people has become so strong that the idea that we might be wrong doesn't even click in our heads.
And is there any chance that's going to happen in the next 20 years?
I hope so, man. My hope is that it will happen before disaster strikes. If disaster strikes first, we will wake up to it. That's how we woke up to terrorism on 9/11.
Yeah.
Right? We woke up to the fact that we were blind and willingly blind to Islamic extremism.
Right. And then again, we went ahead and just did a bunch of damage on the back of it. Probably really didn't learn any lessons, maybe.
And guess what still exists?
Exactly.
Islamic extremism.
Yeah, I don't see how the U.S. realizes. And again, the U.S., people don't realize when you're in America, you're so inward facing. You know, you're caught by the coasts. The world is America. Most people in America could not point out Ukraine on a map. Definitely not. And so I don't know how it'll ever come back around when it comes to that.
Most Americans can't find Israel on a map either, man.
I know. So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, It's going to be bloody. It's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. The greedy bankers are about to do it again. In 2008, they crashed our financial system and nearly bankrupted the entire global economy. Then they received trillions of dollars in government bailouts. And after, they demanded fat bonuses paid for by you, the taxpayer.
It turns out the banks haven't just been screwing the American taxpayers, they're also screwing over their investors. Turns out the banking industry is the worst place you could put your money, despite enormous taxpayer bailouts.
Now the bankers are back to take away your financial freedom. They lie and tell you that cryptocurrency isn't safe. They try to make it illegal for you to choose how to invest your hard-earned money. They lie and say cryptocurrency is used by money launderers and criminals. But look at the record. It's the banks themselves that launder hundreds of billions of dollars every year to the biggest criminal operations in the world.
Leaked documents have revealed how some UK banks have helped criminals, money launderers and Russians under sanctions.
American authorities discovered that the Sinaloa cartel moved $881 million through HSBC accounts as bank officials turned a blind eye to the illegality.
The bankers lie and say cryptocurrency is not a real investment. Meanwhile, the smartest CEOs in the world are buying billions and billions of it. The truth is that banks lie about cryptocurrency because it makes them scared. The banks take $9 trillion per year of your hard-earned money, and they are worried that they will finally be exposed. They're scared because crypto means they can no longer control your money, which means they can no longer control you. They are scared because you might actually understand your money and intelligently decide what to do with it. Now is the time for us to come together, fight back, and take control. It's time to educate ourselves, our families, and our communities. Because financial education means financial freedom. We know that cryptocurrencies will help us build the new decentralized financial system of the future. A banking system that is of the people, by the people, and for the people. A banking system where access to finance is a fundamental human right. A banking system that is free and fair and welcomes all humans on this earth. The DeFi revolution is happening. We, the people, can no longer be fooled. We choose to take control of our finances. We choose to take control of our freedom. We choose to take control of our future. Join us, and let's take back our financial freedom forever.